passionate about not being compassionate. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but to get on. Mandate to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Bald Brian.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Chris has got some trending topics. It reminded me that I was talking about one of them during Reasonable Doubt, where Garagos brought up a case, and the case was with Drake. Drake had hooked up with some Instagram model, and they just, met in the hotel room kind of move. And when he was done, he took his spent condom and threw it in the trash can, but not before putting a bunch of hot sauce in it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so
Old trick.
what happened was
She's suing potentially now.
Yeah. So there's an Instagram account called Too Much Hot Tea, appropriately named.
Mm-hmm.
And they posted a picture of Drake with a caption on it, Instagram model ready to sue after Drake allegedly put hot sauce in the condom. And I'm just going to read you the description here because it's pretty great. So, allegedly, Drake and the IG model met up on Instagram, and the two decided to link up a few weeks ago. The model and Drake had a romantic encounter, and what happened next was, well, crazy. After the party, they went back to his hotel. They smoked weed for a bit, and he asked if she wanted to have sex. She said he was very intent on ensuring things were consensual. They started with a bit of foreplay.
What a Canadian rapper.
Yeah. They started with a bit of foreplay. He rubbed and sucked her titties for a bit.
Oh, my.
He then went to the bathroom and
down.
came out with a condom on.
And nothing else?
She said he's about 7 inches thick and cut. They fucked for about...
Well, he's Jewish.
7 inches thick? It's a weird...
Well, 7 inches, comma. He's also
Comma.
thick,
And
comma,
cut.
and cut.
Oh,
When you
okay.
do that Oxford comma.
Yeah. All right. That's so far the news is good.
Right.
They have padded bras, Gina Grad, but no one's ever
I've heard of
got
them.
onto the padded condom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, interesting.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Leaving money on the table,
Yeah.
Trojan.
That's right.
We'll present that to Mr. Cuban next time. you
Please.
see him.
Yes.
So they fucked for about 20 minutes. He mostly hit it from the back
No.
and eventually came inside the condom. Immediately after, he went back into the bathroom to dispose of it. She fished the condom out of the trash, untied it, and put the opening end into her vagina.
It was tied? Wow, tied off.
Boy, was she in for a surprise. She said it felt like pouring hot lava into her pussy.
Brian, where do you come down on tying off the condom and throwing it in the neighbor's trash can or up the Ivy embankment?
Bold moves. Especially if you're Drake. A good move either way because, the farther away you can get it from the supermodel, the blood-sucking supermodel, the better.
She screamed, and Drake ran into the bathroom. He admitted that he poured a packet of hot sauce in the condom.
Del
to-
Scorcho.
Him and Hillary Clinton are the two people that travel
Oh,
with
yeah.
Tabasco in their purse.
That's right.
That's right.
That's all I've
Very
learned.
different reasons.
That's right.
Yeah, so he admitted he poured the packet of hot sauce in the condom to kill the sperm. Now the Instagram model is threatening to sue Drake. And
On what grounds?
Well,
But she's trying to...
I opened up a lot of windows to Mr. Mark Garagos about this because he thought it was pretty ridiculous as well. And so much so that attorneys always listen to the show and judges listen to the show. And I think a well-respected female judge or attorney actually contacted Mark and said she changed her mind because of many of my points.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
So, well, here's, look,
Not legal points.
a couple things. First things first, you're in the bathroom. There is a toilet there. If you would like to get rid of this
There's a way to
condom
dispose of this,
permanently, there is a permanent disposal machine.
Send it to hell.
Many people, when the cops are banging on the door and you got some cocaine in there, you don't dump hot sauce on
Right.
it.
Harry and Karen Hill are trying to get rid of the
It
stuff.
goes right to the bay, right?
Some people were saying, why didn't he do that? And a lot of people were replying. A couple things. One, You're gonna clog those pipes.
That's
You
the
want that to
pipes,
be
yeah.
your responsibility?
Drake's not at his home. He's not a certified plumber.
Mr. Hilton can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So he could have. Now the question is the hot sauce a way to kill the sperm, or is it a sort of punitive thing where you're going to fuck with this person because you know in advance how this game goes? And
I didn't even consider that. I just thought it was purely spermicidal. Spermicidal.
Yeah,
Well-
this is like bait condom.
well, you have to. First off, we're not sure if hot sauce kills sperm, but we'd have to figure that out
Ask Dexter.
in a court. Yeah, he makes a good hot sauce. So we'd have to figure that out. And then, so basically, the law says if you have a roommate who's getting into your cereal, you're not allowed to taint the cereal. Even
Sure,
if
the intent is harm.
Even if the
Yes.
person does steal. There are many cases where people have like booby trapped their market or their home or whatever.
Oh, we had that at a restaurant I worked at. We would always eat the food. So the manager, to warn us, she put a perfect piece of tiramisu into the staff area, and she poured a ton of hot sauce, Drake style, just a bunch of hot sauce on it, and then covered it with the cocoa powder. And somebody took a bite, mouth is on fire.
That's intent to harm, though. That
Why
is
would
suable.
she do that?
Just so she's
Teach
like,
you a lesson.
yeah, teach us a lesson that don't eat the food without paying for it.
So, if first off they get hold of his phone and he's got any text with anybody about fucking with some chick
Gonna
or
teach this bitch a lesson.
burning her pussy or whatever like that, just because she's doing something horrible doesn't mean that he can't get into trouble as well. So I thought it was a kind of an interesting case.
Yeah.
I don't know how far she's going with it. I mean, unfortunately, the way the law works, is a lot of it doesn't matter that this person was breaking into your house. You're not allowed to dig a Burmese tiger trap and have him fall through on bamboo shoots and kill
Elaborate.
himself. Right. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Stand your ground.
Yeah.
So Drake didn't confirm or deny the story, but he did post a thing on Instagram, just a picture of him, and the caption was, "You can have your 15 minutes of fame. I'll take the other 23 hours and 45 minutes."
Wow.
That's up.
Yeah.
You know you've arrived when you try to dispose of a condom and somebody goes in after it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
legendarily NBA players would have to deal with that a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was getting a girl to sign an NDA, right? Isn't
That's
that what
good.
celebrities do too? Like, hey, if we're
Yeah.
gonna bang, you got to sign this
But if
first.
they're fishing your sperm out of the trash.
Speaking of fishy, though, hot sauce is red typically. She would think he had a venereal disease if she pulled this thing
Yeah,
out.
do not put that in you.
Yeah, it's
The first thing, if you
Yeah.
see red, that's blood.
Got a couple of
Right.
red ribbons around it. Ew.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested. I always feel bad for whoever the parents are of the Instagram model. Like this is what you created. Nature and nurture.
Even worse, there's green hot sauce.
Oh yeah, even worse in the.
Yeah, he
in
should
the
use
venereal
the
department.
off-colored ones
Yeah,
now. He should
exactly.
start moving
That's
to that.
chlamydia.
Yeah, you can get sponsored by Dexter. So Drake. So another reason they said why he shouldn't have flushed a condom. Animals choke on the condoms when they go out into the bay. Adam, how dare you?
Yeah, I'm not a big condom flusher. I am saying that if,
Upper deck.
I am saying if his concern is not to have his seed find any purchase, this is the easiest, cleanest way to do it. First off, I don't know if Drake travels around with packets of hot sauce in his bathrobe or something. You got to thread the needle a little bit there.
Yeah.
I mean I can barely get hot sauce onto eggs without fucking something up.
Just tearing the corner off.
Just tearing the corner. It's
Volcano.
all over the shirt. Like how is he really sitting there and doing that? Although I may adopt this just because I like. Well, it's not that anyone would ever go after my seed, but I like saying that this is something that's necessary in my life. It sends a very strong message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You've
think about
arrived.
that guy who needs to poison his own seed after he's done with an Instagram model. Yeah, I like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I theorized why NBA players don't do this, and I'm going to throw it out to rappers too. Spend a month or two banking a gallon of sperm for when you want to have kids. Get a vasectomy. Fuck all you want for the rest of your life with impunity.
Yeah, I agree. I remember talking about this with Drew the other day, which is doctors are very reluctant to give vasectomies to young men. They think they're going to want them reversed. There's some liability. Like we had Engineer Mike. I forgot until Drew brought this up. Engineer Mike, not Mike Dawson, the original Engineer Mike over
Anderson
at Loveline. I don't know if you were ever there with Mike.
Not Anderson started before I started.
Nice guy, but wanted a vasectomy when he was like 26, 27, had a hard time finding it. I'm not sure if he got it or not, but they're reluctant to do this.
Yeah.
Doctors.
My
They're
friends are getting them now.
reversible.
Yeah, they're
surgery.
sometimes
You can
they
snap
are
the
some.
snip.
Yeah, I guess, but I think their thinking is I think a lot of it is lawyers and whatever. But it's hard to get a vasectomy when you're a young man.
And we got 10-year-olds on hormone therapy.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
hard.
Brian.
It's also hard mentally, but like guys my age are getting them
I'm just
now,
saying.
and they're going in groups. Like the dads are like, oh, we're all going.
Tag team?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, we got to be there for each other, so we'll all get them together.
Really?
Yeah.
They do that with like teeth cleanings
No, just I think
and
it's just
facials and stuff. It's just so it's not all.
Yeah, you know how
group.
girls go to the bathroom together.
Same thing.
Yeah, guys go get vasectomies together.
All right.
That's the new thing.
So
On the next water cooler.
she's not filed
Make sure
yet.
to pull up.
Tuba ligation
No,
for
it's-
everybody.
Yeah, it's all alleged. They haven't released her identity at all. But I mean, what a crazy story. All right, speaking of Instagram models, I mean this next person I'm going to talk about is not an Instagram model, but a podcast host. Her name is Sophia Franklin, media personality. She hosted that podcast Call Her Daddy. And now now she hosts her own show called Sophia with an F, and it's a great show. I'll play a clip from it. She's a really great broadcaster. You can take a listen.
All right.
I stand here today alongside Zendaya, power to the short kings. 5'7", 5'8", best sex ever. If you are not 6 foot, you are fine.
Yeah, so I mean, she definitely
wonder
knows
where that came
knows
from.
what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Sage.
A bias.
Yeah, talking about Tom Holland and Zendaya, who you saw their movie. Adam, what'd you think of it?
It was good. I realized
Spider-Man.
I realized that these movies are somewhat becoming a little overwhelming. There's 3 Spider-Men and there's 5 villains, and it's all just sort of happening at once.
Very stimulating.
And I don't know. I'm a little more old school, just like a kind of a slower kind of I don't know. Like you think about the Alien, the first Alien. You know what I mean? Just sort of paced and slow, and you get little glimpses of it. It was a big treat just to see a glimpse of the foe and of the creature,
Oh, yeah.
the thing, and it just built so much like Drake, so much foreplay was built in.
Is it full hour into the movie of an hour and 40-minute movie when you see an alien? The titular alien.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like a lot, and I get that everyone's got a short attention span. Everyone's on their phone, and everyone's metronome is ticking so fast right now. But I always feel a little sort of overwhelmed in that there's just so much happening at once. And then I also kind of never really get the rules of Spider-Man. Like, he's flesh and blood. He's flesh and blood, but you can definitely throw him off a building and he'll smack a brick wall and slide
And
all the
crush
way
the
down.
bricks.
And at some point he goes
Right.
like, ugh. And then he gets back into it. But then at some point they get stabbed or they get really hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm always kind of wondering, like, I can go along with them for a while, but his rules are weird. You know, in a weird way, Superman is pretty straightforward. The Hulk is a regular guy, and then he's the Hulk. You know, Spider-Man kind of toggles back and forth between being completely thrown through a brick wall and fine, and then later on he gets jabbed with something, and it's a little unclear. Good movie.
It's a little convenient.
A little convenient. It's good. But I don't know. I kind of miss the pacing of the older stuff. A little more foreplay, a little more intrigue.
So you're not into the Marvel universe just yet.
Yeah, I watch them.
Yeah.
I think they're well done and all that kind of stuff. I bring Sonny.
I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. I know the answer is no, sadly. Have you seen the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Because this
It's
movie takes
fabulous.
a lot of inspiration from that. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that. And that won
It's
the Oscar.
so
It's
good.
spectacular. It's
I watch. No, I have not. Although I did grow up, or I did spend a lot of time watching the animated Spider-Man series
boy,
as a
very
kid.
No.
Very
Totally different.
But the thing about the series was it had a great theme song.
Cooked.
The theme song cooked, and Peter Parker was self-deprecating, and he never got the girl at the end. And I, even at the young, tender age of whatever I was, I sort of liked the fact that he was kind of the loser superhero.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's go back to Sophia. So she put up a TikTok, and she shared her first date ritual, which has been viewed by millions and millions of people. And what she wrote was, the caption was, "Men love some healthy competition." And she posted a video of herself, and in the text it said, "When I go to the bathroom on a first date, I pay the bartender to send me an anonymous shot so my date remembers I have options." So when she sits back
What?
down, she gets a shot
good.
from a guy at the bar. Random
every
guy.
good relationship is built on a nice bedrock of emotional manipulation.
Yes.
That's what she said. She says, "Look, if you want a great relationship, you want to find that person you're looking for, create a love triangle." She's going a whole extra dimension
Okay.
into this.
Maybe she's an alcoholic and just feels
Like
weird
shots.
ordering 2 fingers plain of Jack, like in front of her new
you
guy.
gotta
But
drink it,
like
you know.
someone sends it over, you don't want to insult them.
But that could be it too. She says she's done it with flowers too.
That's
drank
so
flowers?
she must be a fan of the classic movie Clueless, where that is a focal point of the movie, sending yourself flowers anonymously. So this is not a new idea. And it's probably, as Brian said, not a great way to build a relationship, but she's the one who's the broadcasting guru. Because wasn't it
Yes.
called Them Daddy? And now it's called Her Daddy.
Oh yeah,
because
it's
they
called them
split?
because she left because it was a Barstool thing and she got in a fight with Barstool. But anyway, TikTok is divided. Some people are saying that's a toxic strategy. Other girls are like, I'm trying that on my next date.
Well, she can't use it anymore now
She
that the
can't,
cat's
no.
out of the bag.
It's true.
She doesn't need to. But it brought me to thinking because of the girls I've dated, they have had drinks sent over to them, and I've had
shit.
and I've never been the jealous type, and I've actually had girls like get mad at me, like, why aren't you jealous about this? They like wanted that, and I'm thinking like, Brian, does that ever happen to you? And I mean, with Christy or
Early on, I laid down the law with Christy, and it's been the basis of our relationship ever since. She had been in a few bad relationships. She's not bad, like abusive, but bad, like, just didn't get along, fighting all the time, blah, blah, blah. And she tried to get it to start a fight with me about some innocuous thing. And I said to her, I was like, you can try to start a fight with me. I'm not going to fight back. So if this is how our relationship is going to go, then it's not going to go very far. But I'm not going to be the guy who fights back with you. I'm not your ex-boyfriends. And we rarely fight after I sort of set down that, established that rule. Like, we're just not going to fight. We'll argue about things, but we don't get into fights.
yeah.
Good. I think that's a good policy. I do think
She was impressed.
I do
too.
think there's some people that get into legitimate disputes, and then there's some people that just want to scrap.
Yes.
And the scrappers
Important difference.
like to scrap.
Oh yeah.
And they're I always say they're sort of the pit bull with the chew toy. You can turn in circles. They're just pulling on it.
Yes.
What they're doing is they're going the opposite direction you're going, not their direction and your direction. Just whatever it is, wherever you're going, they're going the other direction. There's men that way. There's women that are that way. Like, it's counterintuitive because you're like, why would you even think this way or go down this path? But it's not counterintuitive if it's something familiar and they want to
Right.
get into it. And
Yes.
for things that don't make sense, depending on your wiring, it's sort of like, I don't know, like for me, tattoos are like, who would get a tattoo? It seems counterintuitive. You know, who would get a piercing in their nose? Like if you just said to me, I didn't know anything. You just went, here's what's involved with the tattoo. Here's how it works. There's a needle and there's ink, and it'll cost you $600 or something like that.
It'd be forever.
What percentage of Americans are tattooed? I'd be like, got to be way less than 1%. Who the fuck would do that? Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And by the way, no one admits they like to fight, but we know who they are. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because the fighters will usually, you guys tell me if you've ever experienced this. The fighters will do two things to get the fight started. They will not do something you've asked them to do and then never be apologetic about it, but go right in on it, which then draws you in, and now we got to fight. So all right, 3 stages. If you said male or female, whatever it is, you say to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, husband or your wife, you go, hey, could you call the fill in the blank guy, the cable guy or the dish guy or whatever, because the dish is whatever, or the cellular whatever guy. Like, could you handle this thing? And then I'm going to go to work, and then but you make sure and you do this during the day so we can get our TV back on running or whatever it is. The person that doesn't want to fight, when you come home, they did it. The person that is lazy and doesn't want to fight says, I didn't do it. I screwed the pooch. It's not going to happen again. The person that wants to fight didn't do it. And when you go, why didn't you do it? They go, fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Right.
And
Why
now
do you do it?
I'm busy. Like, why? And then they start this weird thing where they go, no, I didn't say I was going to do it. I said I might do it if I was. You know, they relive conversations that never happened. You know what I mean? We all know they never happened. No, I didn't say I was going to do it. I said I could do it if I wasn't busy. But then I got busy. It's like, by the way, if we had that conversation, I would have stopped and went, well, what are you doing today? Because I want to get the fucking cable back up and running. But they do it. The fighter doesn't do it. And then there's a way to get out of every fight unless you're dealing with Joey Buttafuoco. There's nobody here. Everyone says to me all the time, oh, Adam, the second you go, my bad, I'll fix it, or I'll take care of it, or we're done. There's no more pushback. There's nothing to fight about. The person capitulated. They just went, I fucked up. Sorry, not going to happen again. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. But they don't. They come around. So the person, you have to not do these things, and then when discussed, you have to push back hard. Some of the favorites are like, pick out something that the other person didn't do once. Oh,
well, you didn't.
Right. Remember we were in Ukaipa and you said you were going to get me a sandwich? Yeah, 13 years ago.
Hold
that. Bring up something. Bring up something that the other person. That's the way to scrap.
Yep.
Yeah.
So who are
there's some heat seekers for that friction out there. Like,
well, that's my buddy Ray. That's what Ray would do all the time. Like, I'd go, bring this thing in, bring it, show up with the thing, or like bring it. And he wouldn't do it. And then when you asked him for it, he immediately got combative and wanted to know what you didn't bring in or whatever it is.
They're a loaded gun, cocked and ready to go at any second.
If you want to know who everyone is, you have to picture sensible words coming out of their mouth that would never work with that person.
Okay.
So if, we can all have a laugh over the person who's super cheap saying, let me pick up lunch, fellas. It'll be my treat.
Yeah.
Whatever. And you would laugh. Right. Or if you pictured my dad saying, I'm really into cars. Mind if I come by and help you wrench this weekend? Now, it's a sensible thing for a dad, but it would sound laughable. All right. You have to picture the scrappers, the excuse makers, the arguers, the pushbackers, the what about you people. And you just picture them saying sentences like, oh, this is on me. It's not going to happen again. Sorry. And if you get a big laugh when you think about that person saying, totally my fault, 100%, not going to happen again. If that makes you laugh, then that's a scrapper. You're dealing with a scrapper. And we can all picture the scrappers, and they've never said anything like, Oh, sorry, maybe I misunderstood. But I understand how you would feel. It's not going to happen again. If you picture those people giving those kinds of answers and it makes you laugh, that's a scrapper.
No. And, there's love languages, there's gifts of service, there's gifts of, validation. Some people's love language is being exhausting. Like they just want to grind you down. That is your love language. And I've said, and yes, men can be this person, but in my personal experience, I feel like I'm very feminine to a point, but there are some things that I just don't really see eye to eye on with a lot of women. And I have said on 2 occasions to 2 women, friends, don't talk to me like that. Don't start a fight with me. I'm not your boyfriend. We are not in a relationship. Because that's what it is. They want to fight, but if they're not in a relationship, they're going to find somebody to have these stupid rows with, and it's not going to be me.
You're right. I observe girl friends, of other girls doing this outside of the context of a relationship.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember I dated a girl once, and we got she was trying to get me to kind of trigger me to start a fight.
Just ordering drinks to the table.
I got in my car, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go. I'm getting in my car. She gets into her car, which is behind me, and she bumps me.
Wow.
She bumped me.
Wow.
I'm like, what the? Yeah. So they're people like.
Second time he was tapped in the rear by that gal. Get Chris drunk and hear the first time. That's a great fucking story. You'll respect him more, I would argue.
Don't do that in confidence, Adam.
All right. Well, it is interesting, and for all you scrappers out there,
knock it off.
Yeah, knock it off. But again, have the mode where you'll dutifully try to do whatever. But if you don't, and it's on you, then you just own it, and then we can get the fuck on with our lives. Well, actually, Mike August is a scrapper, because I've gotten I've told you we had a 2-hour and 15-minute argument from here to San Diego like 5 years ago. We literally would not take a step backwards.
Yeah,
he dug in. Nice. He dug in. He's not a normal fighter, but once he digs in, he's in.
I've seen him get into it with like a front desk clerk at a hotel, and I couldn't even tell you what it's about because I walk away because I'm so uncomfortable that I don't want to be associated with him at this moment. So I'm just going to stand over here and let him do his thing.
Although to be fair to him, his is more male temper based than it is psychologically draining, circle, feminine. One's a cat and the other's a dog. Like he's like an aggressive dog versus a passive aggressive feline. But he's like old school scrapper.
Totally.
People hate you.
All right, should we bring it home, Max Zapata?
Yeah, as Brian said, check out the Water Cooler podcast.
Right.
Why don't you?
Wasn't ready for that. There was no intro. You jumped right in off the top of the bat.
It's all right.
All right. We going outro or we good?
His real name's Laxamana.
It's awesome with the save.
All right. We'll talk to Paul Janeway, who I saw during the Whiskey X thing in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think.
They were great.
I think.
No,
yes.
we saw him, Gina. It was great.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you guys were, but they're great.
That was awesome. I wasn't super familiar with the band, and I loved their whole performance.
Yeah, we were down on the dance floor.
Yeah, so they are. He is excellent. They are excellent, and he's an unlikely journey to stardom, and we'll talk to him first. Let me hit Simply Safe. Want to make your home feel safer? No better time than now. Simply Safe is giving my listeners access to their New Year's deal, 20% off plus your first month free when you sign up for interactive monitoring service. This is a great product. This is a great company. Peel and stick. Batteries last up to 10 years. You can be up and running in half an hour. You don't have to schedule guys, come crawl around under your house and drill wires and pull lamp cord, everything to make your house safe. Indoor, outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, all monitored around the clock by trained professionals. Named Best Home Security System of 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. Start feeling more peaceful and get yourself some peace of mind in the new year. Take 20% off your first month And get 20% off and get your first month free when you sign up for interactive monitoring. No long-term contracts. Visit simplysafe.com/Adam today. All right, quick break. Back with Paul right after this. Paul Janeway has joined us. That is him singing The Alien Coast. Is the name of the album. It's coming out January 28th. And want to find out some tour dates because these guys are going to be all over the place. St. Paul and the brokenbones.com. Good to see you, Paul.
Thanks for having me.
I love your voice. I love your style of music. It's kind of a nice throwback. I know you started, at some stage in life, you wanted to be a preacher. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so I basically grew up I grew up in a really rural area in Alabama, and really there was a small church, and that was kind of the epicenter of all social gathering and so on. Wasn't much to do, as what happens. And so since I think I sang my first solo in church when I was 3 years old, and basically my whole dream till I was about 16, 17 was to be a preacher. That's what I wanted to be. I had a pastor take me kind of under his wing, and he let me do Sunday night sometimes. Not the main event, not the Sunday morning service, but
he was a feature.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of took me under his wing, and honestly, like the church doors were open, I was there. I was a janitor. I was, basically, cut the grass or whatever I could do just to be there.
Yeah, I was watching a thing on Sam Kinison. Everyone knows famously he was a preacher, and it's a good base for performing. You're on stage.
It's just you.
You have to. It's just you. You got that microphone. You're using your voice, and you have to keep that crowd engaged. Yes,
Majority
right.
of them don't want to be there. They kind of have to. You know what I mean? So you got to keep them engaged, like you said.
I learned that when I taught comedy traffic school. My congregation did not want to be there Sunday morning listening to what I had to preach, but it does make an extra challenge when you have to keep them engaged. So how do you get from there to music, or to your kind of music?
I always sang, but I never really had like the lead role. I had a pastor who kind of thought I'd get a little arrogant if I started taking lead, so I never actually got to do much leading. So I didn't really know what I sounded like or what I just sang, and I did an open mic night, which is my hometown, Birmingham, Alabama. And I got a reaction. I was like, okay, all right, there might be something to this. And it kind of goes from there.
Yeah, it just popped in my head. Open mic for comedians is always a disaster because you've never done comedy before and you're 22 years old and you usually bomb, and at some point 10 years later you become sort of okay. But if you can sing, I mean, there's going to be some style and some nerves and stuff, but if you can sing, you can go out open mic job one and go out there and not pick a Sam Cooke song and hit it out of the ballpark.
Well, I all I know is I got a good reaction. I mean, to me, comedy open mics are one of my favorite things to go to because it is really, when you hear someone tell a bad joke, it's like, it's amazing the awkward energy that flows through the room. But I mean, music open mics can be that way too. There can be that person that just ain't got it, that kind of sings in the cracks of the piano. And, it's pretty tough to take.
What? I got to know, what song did you sing in that first open mic?
I want to say it was just something I wrote. That's
an original.
Wow.
I know. Bold. I'm not a great guitar player. I can get around one, but I went original. That was, which is took some gusto for sure.
Well, Gina's having some technical issues. We'll figure it out. So who were you influenced by? Who do you listen to?
Well, my mom only, let me, when I was young, would only let me listen to like religious music and then a little sprinkling of like old soul, like, the Stylistics and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of my only kind of alternative to religious and kind of gospel music. So I kind of ate it up and loved it. And I think it had a pretty heavy influence.
Are you still very religious? And then you go on the road, there's a lot of temptation, women, drugs, booze.
I actually have never drank alcohol ever in my life. That's still to this day.
We gotta wrap this interview up.
Like it's the X.
I know. I'm sorry. I remember like doing something with this veteran Nashville guitar player, and I was like, I said something like, well, I haven't drank. And he's like, that'll last 6 months. And I was like, man, it's lasted for a while now. It's been almost a decade. So, I'm not particularly religious. My wife is actually Episcopalian, and I do find peace in it. You know what I mean? Like I find some peace there. It's very different than what I grew up with. We were speaking in tongues and slaying, all that good stuff. So very different.
I'd like to hear some tongues because I used to work with a guy named Frank. I used to work with these born again guys who were ex gangbangers, but they found Jesus Christ in prison. And so, of course, it was a delightful experience for me, the atheist from the valley, to work with nothing but born again Christian gangbangers who we install custom closets. And Frank would speak in tongues, but all he would do is go, Shandala, Shandala. And I didn't know if that was the official tongue speak or that was Frank's weird take on it. And I wasn't sure, but how does one speak in tongues? What would that sound like?
I think you just gotta be in the moment, I guess. I gotta be honest. It's not something that I'm really into at this point in my life, but it's weird. Like it is weird because like it's kind of like getting caught up in all this like emotion and kind of craziness, and then somebody does it, and then there might be somebody that interprets it, and like it's pretty wild to think about it now. At the time though, it was just normal. It's what you live in, right? Now it would make me a little, I don't know if it'd make me uncomfortable, but it would make me just kind of go, I don't know what to do now. It's very interesting.
We were in a cube truck and we were in Burbank, and we'd be like driving to Encino to install closets, and Frank would break out the Shandala Shandala. But that's not him in the moment. I feel like he's just manufactured that. That's not him being overtaken by the hand of the Lord. It's a gray area, right?
Sure.
I guess it's like it's one of those things where like they talk about like it's supposed to be in the language of angels, right? And so, but sometimes I'm like, they've got some weird language stuff going on because it's all over the place.
So
I'm pretty sure I heard a guy speaking Spanish. I'm like, I think he took like a year of Spanish, and he's using some of those in there. But you can't say anything. You just got to live in the moment. But I'm pretty sure I heard that.
So you know. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, it's working. Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to touch a little bit more on that because you hear about all the time recovering Catholics and, and even Jews and, people like, you know what, you're just so burnt out on the religion that you experienced as a kid. You have.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Where are you personally with that? Do you still sort of carry that in your music and in yourself, or are you so over it you have to turn away from all of that?
I think it's in my DNA. I think it's like it's just part of the performance, right? And it's a part of how we perform and how I perform, and I still could be able to read a crowd. And honestly, like there are aspects that like I still like. One thing that there are, I guess, principles that I still apply to my life that I think are very important. But I would be lying if I said I went on a regular basis or anything like that.
I mentioned before that my wife Christy, had a very religious grandmother. She donated a lot of money to Kenneth Copeland, et cetera, et cetera. Took her to church on a number of occasions as a young girl to speak tongues.
Oh, really?
Freaked Christy out. She wanted nothing to do with it, but everyone in the church was speaking tongues and doing the laying of the hands. You know what I mean? The whole thing.
Rolling around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went. I probably went to church. Well, I went to church 2 times.
Clean the carpets?
No. One was I spent the night at Dan Gallagher's house for my Pee Wee football team. I played the game on a Saturday. Slept over Saturday night and got up Sunday morning. Where are we going? We're going to church. That's what we do. We're the Gallagher family. I remember being a little freaked out by that. And then the second time, it's because they had free spaghetti night. That's the only time I went with a parent. I went with my mom because they were ladling out free
She was
grub.
a believer that night.
That's right.
That's how they hook you.
They get you with the pasta. They fucking carb load you.
Garlic bread.
That's how they get you. I know. If I ran that church and I saw my mom walking down there with a smile on her face and an empty bowl, I'd turn your fat ass around. That's not how this works. You don't just come waltzing in here once a month, load up on free food, and go back home to your atheist lifestyle, looking at your biorhythms wheel and other sinful, devilish products like that. Yeah, that's the only. That's I see. I never liked religion, but I always wished we had some of it in our world. Just the notion of going somewhere Sunday morning or being thankful at dinner time. Saying grace or some version of that. It seems like there's a lot of healthy components to it, minus the tongues.
I agree. I mean, I definitely fell out of love with it and had a lot of venom towards it once I, got to be 18, 19, as most people, your worldview kind of expands. But one thing, with my wife, if we go, when we go on Ash Wednesday, I love that day because it's to dust you are, to dust you will be. And it's a great kind of centering reminder of no matter how hot shit you think you are, you're nothing really. You know what I mean? And I think that's a great kind of centering moment. And I love that service because it is kind of about that, to dust you are and to dust you will be. You're going to be dead at some point. So I think that's a beautiful sentiment.
Do you walk around with the ash swatch on your forehead?
I have in the past. Yes, I have.
A funky Charles Manson.
I want to be. I'll be consistent.
I just want people to know that my sins are gone. That's really. I want to make it.
I'm going to be consistent. I don't like the people with the "I voted" sticker on their fucking sweater, and I'm going to be consistent. And these guys probably vote one. The "I voted" probably went for Biden. The ash went for Trump. I don't want to see either one of them. That's the way I work. Do you think there's a renaissance? How would you describe your music, and might we be having a renaissance for that kind of music?
Well, I think for us, I mean, we definitely, some of the guys are from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is the home of the Swampers and some of the best music ever made on the planet, and so that's very much a part. Those guys would sit in studios and you'd have Aretha Franklin. I mean, the Rolling Stones recorded the Wild Horses up there. There's these beautiful, beautiful records made up there. And there was a band called the Swampers. And that's kind of how these guys grew up. And those guys had played on records that I could only dream about.
Are you familiar with the Swampers?
Yeah, the doc. There's a good doc about it.
There's a great documentary. Actually, I sang at the premiere of the documentary in Muscle Shoals. Oh, wow. I was Percy Sledge's replacement.
Nice.
When a man loves a woman. You do it.
When a man loves a woman.
Not as good as mine, but fine. Serviceable.
He's the church, environment.
Yeah, exactly. But Percy Sledge, I was his replacement that night, and so I got to play with those guys, and it was an amazing night. So yeah, it was. So a lot of our guys came from that kind of place, right? So I do think that there is definitely a renaissance of people that want to hear real music and real musicians and real, you know what I mean? We've taken a lot of that out of music. Most people now kind of go to a laptop, right? and that's not how we operate. It's a very different and expensive way of doing things.
Well, a couple things. Is Percy okay? Did he? Is he still around?
He was, I think. Didn't Percy's pass? I think Percy has passed.
Percy Sledge.
He died in 2015.
Oh,
yeah. He's
if he didn't open for MC Hammer at some point in his career,
Come on.
he left money on the table.
What?
Sledgehammer would have been that would have
boy.
looked so good on a marquee. I would have gone to that show.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Number one.
Sacrilegious, buddy. That is
Dare you.
sacrilegious.
I see. I have this thing, which is, I don't mind people that don't have a lot of ability and people who may be a little lazy, like DJ Khaled. But let's not make this popular. You know what I mean? Like DJ Khaled, you don't possess talent. True. But you would like to get paid millions of dollars. True. All right, but let's not pretend what you're doing is something.
We'll have a subtle agreement.
Yes.
So you can do what you do.
Right. And I feel like a lot of, I think what we do is we do like, well, he does this kind of music and then you do that kind of music. But no, you do music where you have to sing and people have to play instruments and people have to possess talent and people have to rehearse. And it's sort of the Yoko Ono's in that group. It's a modern art versus a fine art. It's not so much that this is this. It's like, no, you can't do what the Dutch masters do. So you do modern art and you've decided that it's a thing. I think a lot of America has been fooled by this, and I would like to go back. I want everyone on stage. My plan is to watch people on stage and think, I could never do that in a million years. Not, if I brought my laptop, I could knock
Pull
that
this
one
off,
out. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think what Picasso said, you need to learn to construct before you can deconstruct. And I think about that with music. Like there's plenty of people I've met who do stuff on laptops who can play and are great players. So I respect that, but if, you can't do it. If you can't construct it, with an instrument, it's just, there's many ways up the mountain, but for me, it's all, we obviously do it the way we do it for a reason.
But the good news is the kind of music that you do always seems to break through. Amy Winehouse is an icon for doing that sort of analog throwback. You think Alabama Shakes. There's like all these bands that their names because they're really fucking good at doing the kind of music that you're so good at too.
Yeah, there's a place for it. That's the beautiful thing about the internet and Spotify and all this stuff. Like, even vinyl sales are breaking records right now. It's insane, which you would never have thought. So there is definitely a place for people want to interact with the music and hear the music, and I think there's a place for it. There's that's the thing. Like I feel like there's all sorts of ways up the mountain, but for me, yeah, I want the more people that dig the real thing, like I'm all about it. Bring it on.
I think the vinyl sales is like kind of part and parcel of whatever this movement is. I drive around LA. I've seen more Jeeps driving around LA in the last 10 minutes than there's something about when you're being pushed toward DJ Khaled that makes you want to get some vinyl. And if you're getting pushed toward a Tesla, you want to get a Jeep. And you're always going to see people push back the other direction in the vinyl or whatever technology or society is trying to push you. There's always going to be a group that pushes back. What were we going to say, Brian?
Feel free to disagree, say no, make me look like an idiot, but I'm guessing you grew up listening to a lot of Blue-Eyed Soul, Motown, things of that nature. What bands in your life or artists, whatever, really open your eyes to, this is what I could do, or this is what music could be, or oh my God, I love this, or what have you?
Well, the Everly Brothers, anything like that, you have the Stylistics that that was one of those like 70s groups that like had the four guys and the guy would sing low and the guy was singing falsetto and I would sing both parts. And I feel like that helped a lot. What's funny enough though, when I was, when I was like 19, 20, an artist that really opened a lot of doors, a guy named Tom Waits.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom Waits opened a whole, like, that was my forbidden door. You know,
Because
once
he was
that door was
different,
open,
or what
it was
was
just,
it?
he was different. He was different. And he, you know, was an amazing lyricist, but he also kind of it was kind of all sorts of kinds of music that he kind of opened the door for me. And so that's one of those, I call that, you know, like, that was my gateway drug to a lot of different kind of music.
He was Downtown Train was his, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. It's such
He's
a good song.
brilliant, just brilliant. Like, there's just one of a kind too.
Yeah, I always have. You can always tell. I have it with Steve Miller, and I have it with Rod Stewart. If you find yourself enjoying a Rod Stewart song, you have to figure out who wrote it. Because Rod Stewart sings about chicks and legs and getting laid, and even the president needs passion. So you find yourself enjoying a Rod Stewart song, you better take a deep dive into it and figure out who wrote that
What's this all
song.
about?
And that's what I did. I found myself listening to Rod Stewart's Downtown Train going, why am I enjoying a Rod Stewart song? Something's amiss. And then I went and looked it up, and it's Tom Waits. John Waits was from the Babies.
yeah, Tom Waits.
And the Babies were good. If anyone remembers that band. You remember them, Gina?
Yeah, I've seen them play live twice. They used to come in on Mark in the Morning all the time. I've seen Tom come in.
Oh, but
I'm sorry, John come in twice and do concerts for us doing baby songs. I loved it.
I went out to dinner with John Waits and a bunch of like record guys.
Yeah, how'd that go?
He was asked to leave because he got so drunk and he wouldn't stop bothering me. And literally one of the A&R guys was just like, you just have to leave. Right. Which is worse for me, actually. I was more comfortable with him bothering. I liked the Babies. I was sort of enjoying him being drunk and bothering me. But
It's a story.
Oh, John Waits. Sorry, not Waits.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he the Missing You guy?
Yes.
I am missing you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's solo, I think, after the Baby. No, Babies.
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 That has
Babies.
I'm just fucking around.
The Baby's a rap.
Yeah, the Downtown Train by Rod Stewart. It's like you'll find yourself enjoying that song, and that's how you'll know he didn't write it.
So not a Rod Stewart fan.
No,
Less of one.
I mean, he
Was he not clear?
handbags.
I think I interpreted that you're not a Rod Stewart fan.
Some of the stuff is okay, but the damage that Hot Legs and Passion and some of the cocaine fueled 80s stuff did, I can never forgive. I'll never
don't
be healed.
forget, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know. So that's the one you do like. So
No.
Oh.
That's a master class in songwriting.
First off, I don't like. It's too simple to write. First off, it's really arrogant, hubristic to do. Like, you love me, baby. You want some of this. I love. It's just. Vinyl sales 2021 highest in 30 years.
Amazing.
First time they outsold CDs.
Yep.
Ever, I guess, if you think about it. So it's kind of
wow.
I mean, it's a thing. I mean, behind me is my record collection. I have like 3,000 vinyl records, and
Jesus.
that's when I'm on.
I'm looking at the best. I'm looking at the best of Rod Stewart right there over his shoulder.
Yeah, the best of Rod Stewart.
I've
got it all. I got all the variants of the Rod Stewarts. It's on the gold vinyl.
Remastered.
No. Remastered audiophile stuff. You
can only find in Japan.
Test pressings. Man, this is actually all Rod Stewart. All Rod Stewart over there.
I was. Yeah. Kathy's Clown, I was thinking of. You guys know the Everly Brothers?
Everly Brothers,
yeah. The Everly Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had a ton of hits, but that was a little deeper cut. It was a fun song because they were singing about this guy who was Kathy's boyfriend who was cuckolded, essentially. Like, here he comes. It's Kathy's Clown. But good harmonies.
Great harmonies.
Great harmonies. I'm a sucker for great harmonies. There's actually... there's a Beach Boys Pet Sound stack vocals. It's a limited, like a special edition, where it's just the vocal tracks and just listening to them do harmonies. And it's one of the most brilliant things you could ever, like, Brian Wilson, like, it's genius. But it's a special, like, it was like some sort of box set that they released, and it was like stack of vocals. And I think that's one of the best, like, if anyone's like, I want to listen to great harmonies and no music, like, it's a really
where do you find that? Stack
I want to say you can find it on Spotify now. I could be wrong, but
it's called YouTube has it.
Yeah, YouTube certainly has it. Yeah. Stacko Vocals is what it is what they called it. It's some of the, I love it. Like, that's where I get, you can you can hear the breath, you can hear all of those things.
Oh, they do. Wouldn't it be nice? Which is probably chilling.
It's
yeah, that's on YouTube.
Well, Brian Wilson, not only did he create great music, but he inspired the Bare Naked Ladies to sing a song about Brian Wilson laying in bed and just getting fat all day.
That's true.
As I recall. So not only did he create great things, but he inspired others to greatness.
Like a ripple going on forever.
Yeah. Well, I would say this about Ferrari. Ferrari not only created Lamborghini by insulting Lamborghini when Lamborghini made tractors, but then he insulted Ford and he got us to GT40. So it's like this one guy insulting different people got some of the greatest automobiles on the planet.
That's a content creator.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Let's see. Paul, let me give it a plug here. The Alien Coast. It's coming out January 28th. Website, stpaulandthebrokenbones.com is where you go. And let us know when you're in town. We'd love to come out and see you.
Well, yeah. Where are y'all based at? Is it LA?
We're in LA.
Yeah, they're going to be here in May.
May.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in real quick because we saw them at Whiskey X and everything, but they are the best live band you could see on tour. So if they're coming by town next near you, go see them. You're going to love them.
They stole the show. They were fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wish I could remember that. I was overserved. Talk to your mom about it.
Egregiously overserved.
I was overserved. It's not.
I mean, it is a whiskey event, correct?
True,
I mean, that's.
Drake should have dumped some hot sauce in my jigger.
That's right.
Although I wouldn't say that word in front of him.
Careful now in your condition.
That's too close.
Paul, thanks for joining us, brother. We'll see you in May.
Hey, thank y'all very much for having me.
My pleasure. All right. I told Chris to pull Jeff Richards doing Drunk Girl, so you guys will remember that from SNL. And the only guy to do Mad TV and SNL.
Oh, is that true?
By the way.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well,
no shit.
What year is this from, Max Pata?
Oh, I don't know. Let me find that out. Sorry, I didn't
would have been 01 to 03.
Can't you tell by Tina Fey's haircut?
You'll know by Tina Fey, yeah. Well, Brian would know.
Yeah, that's from 2002.
Wow, that is funny. I wonder if you could even do Drunk Girl now.
We can ask him.
All right. Well, Drunk Girl, Jeff Richards is going to be in studio right after this.
And now, from the cutting room floor of the 2021 Ace Awards, honorable mention for outstanding achievement in one-upsmanship.
In high school, I was a very good player. I gave up one sack in my career. I can see the sack right now in my head, how he beat me.
Last game I ever played as a junior, my quarterback, his last time he touched a ball as a player, my guy sacked him. And I didn't give up many sacks either, and I was obviously still haunted to this day about it.
I'm not trying to one-up you. I'm just sharing as you bring back memories.
Fuck up. Go ahead.
In 1987, at Western Michigan, I forgot the snap count. He beats me off the ball, and he sacks our quarterback, Wade Kozakowski, and ended Wade Kozakowski's career.
I killed a referee in 1981. Your turn. Go ahead.
In 11 and a half months, join us for the 2022 Ace Awards.
Well, Jeff Richards is in studio. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you, Adam. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
We got I don't know if we hit the podcast or we want to hit the live show. Ram's Head on Stage. That's Annapolis, Maryland, January 30th. But are we plugging the pod or not?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you can find the pod at Linktree/JeffRichards.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an interesting concept. We've talked to Kyle Dunnigan. Kyle Dunnigan does the thing, does the face stuff and then does the character. But you do the whole interview as the celebrity or the character, right?
Yeah, it's like one long bit, basically just riffing back and forth. And, the idea of the show is that it's Jeff Richards' show, but I'm never there. And filling in to guest host is another celebrity that I do.
I heard you do me as well.
A lot of people talk about the coronavirus. Oh, you said, remember I did that video?
Oh, I'm the Petridge Farms guy.
You go, see, people keep asking me, they ask me if I've got the coronavirus. I don't have the coronavirus, I have the Carolla virus. It's not very good.
You know what, though? That's an interesting
I have the
take. That's not a take we hear
That
very
is.
often.
I get a lot of meh, meh, meh. That's most people's impersonation.
People talk about bananas. You don't have to have a banana on top of another banana. That's like too many bananas.
I do a lot of hot banana talk.
True. You got the material. Yeah.
They won't let us build anything. I can't build anything anymore.
That's good.
Now we're getting
now
honing
we're
in.
going.
Yeah, like
now we're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just waiting. So who is it? I saw one with Robert Downey Jr. that was really funny.
Yeah.
The facial computer stuff is kind of crazy good now.
Well, it's the deepfake's a little different than like the face swap. My friend Scott Welsh does the deepfakes, and it's just like an overlay on your face, but it's the highest definition you can get, and so it's a little different like that. But yeah, it's really fun. I like doing it.
How did SNL come about?
SNL came about. I got really good management when I got Mad TV. I was on Mad TV for a year, and they basically made that happen.
There wasn't any. Well, I'm trying to think. I'm sure SNL kind of looked down their nose at Mad TV.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Lauren, they didn't tell Lauren I was on Mad TV.
I was going to say, because I think in show business is weird, but there used to be rules like, well, you can't do Leno and then do Letterman. And then if you do Letterman, then you can't go do Leno like in the same month or whatever it is. And I could imagine Lauren not being a fan of someone who came from Mad TV.
Yeah.
But they intentionally didn't tell him. So
yeah.
how did that work out?
I guess Marcy Klein just didn't want to tell him first, didn't want him to be influenced, and wanted to, have him see me first. Mm-hmm. So I just, went out there and did, one audition. And as I was leaving the stage, Lauren stopped me and said, "Good job." And I thought that's a good sign, or a pretty good sign, or at least even just if I had that alone, that's pretty good.
How much time did you do?
Just 5 minutes.
And who were you in front of?
Tina Fey, Lorne, I think Paula Pell, Steve Higgins, Mike Shoemaker, and then maybe Jimmy Fallon.
Is that the most nerve-wracking of all possible situations?
Yeah. Plus, because I was right about to go in and they took lunch.
Oh.
So they
Yeah, there is that thing where even if you're nervous or you're dreading it or whatever it is, it's like you don't want to stand next to the open door of the airplane with your parachute on for too long. At a certain point, you want someone to kick you in the ass. Like you just, I don't care what it is, you want it to start. And then when they stop for an hour before that just lets you sit with your feelings, right?
Yeah. But I was pretty well. I was pretty ready. At least that audition, that 5 minutes I had down. So
what did you do?
I did like 9 impressions. I think I did Letterman. Mm-hmm. I did Willy Wonka. There's no way of knowing where my finger's going. I didn't do that. and Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson. You guys ready to play the feud?
Oh my.
Top fighters on the Broadway serving on tons and millions of tons and show me water. And then I did, but Letterman kind of sounds like, again, you don't know, no particular reason, no particular idea.
So, and it all worked.
Yeah, I think so. That audition did.
Is it just it's the middle of the week, middle of the afternoon?
Yeah.
And it's this like kind of weird and I mean, it's not a nightclub. You can't have a drink. You don't have that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I just pretending like it's going well, because there's no real laughs.
Mm-hmm.
You're just pretending like I'm doing well. But nobody told me I wasn't going to hear laughs. That's like a thing you hear about SNL auditions, that you don't hear any laughs. But, I just was like, well, let me just get this out. And that was it. I just did that.
When did you hear back from them?
I flew out the next day, and when I landed, I got a call, and I was in a car with a bunch of people, and I answered the phone, and they go, and it was my managers, and they go, you got it? And I go, I got it? And everyone in the car freaked out, and then they go, yeah, but you can't tell anybody.
The chorus of cheers in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it struck me as I was just thinking about it. One of the reasons SNL was SNL and Mad TV was Mad TV. No one's ever been asked to tell their Mad TV audition story.
I got one.
I want to hear it, but no one ever asked.
Right,
they
sure.
just go, "Hey, Will Sasso, good for you."
Yeah.
It was the worst thing. It took like 2-3 months.
What year was this? 'Cause I remember the original Mad TV cast, 98, 7, 8?
90, yeah. I was 99.
99. They would come on to Loveline and stuff like that. I kind of remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, basically, Nicole Garcia is now a great manager. She basically, I did like this one stand-up spot for 5 minutes again. It was like this before SNL. And I got off stage, and Nicole was the casting agent, said, do you know who's your agent? And I said, I don't have one. She goes, great. I go, I'll take care of you. And then she just basically had me keep going in for producers, trying to write new material. And I guess it wasn't like their fault. I was pretty green, I'd only been doing stand-up for a couple years. So I had to keep writing new stuff and doing new stuff. And then I went to network once, didn't get it, went to network again, and then got it. So they weren't really, I don't think they were really sold on me, because, they weren't really sure about me.
But you got it.
Yeah.
And how long were you at Mad TV?
Just 1 year.
And then off to SNL.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting that nobody's ever done that.
Well, Adam, as you're fond of saying, this will tell you all you need to know about people. Lorne Michaels may not have been a big fan of Mad TV personalities coming on to his show. He was more than willing to bring on Kids in the Hall people after, they had ran their course in Kids in the Hall, because, of course, he produced Kids in the Hall.
Nice Canadian boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Me and Jimmy did Mad TV once.
Oh, did you?
Must have been 01, 2000. I don't know. I think Michelle Kwan was, God, who was doing Michelle Kwan? Oh, I'll think of it. Not the Asian.
Dicey territory here.
Yeah.
Which
Bobby
one
Lee?
looks Asian? Which one doesn't look Asian?
No, he was Asian.
Oh, okay.
Bobby Lee, yeah.
Bobby Lee.
Oh, Bobby Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee.
Love Bobby Lee.
Thanks for the help. Yeah, Bobby Lee.
I was thinking Alex Borstein did Miss Swan, but
Oh, yeah. Alex Borstein. Yeah. God. She was such a bitch back in the day. She fucking yelled at me in my own kitchen of a party I was throwing. I told her, like, I knew her from the Acme Comedy Theater. She was mean. And I threw a party in my apartment, and she yelled at me in my kitchen. And I remember going, this is my party and it's my kitchen. Why are you yelling at me? She later on married a guy named Doug I was friends with from Acme.
okay.
And that's was that story. But I don't know. There's a bit, and it's Jimmy and I as sports announcers.
Yeah,
I
2006.
think. Oh, it's 2006? No. Chris is he's gonna readjust that.
Yeah, it says season 11.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I mean, look, I trust you over whatever they're saying on the internet, but that's what this says.
Wasn't Jimmy was doing his talk show for 3 years and then went over to Mad TV with me?
Let's see what you guys look like.
I don't think this is. I remember we were working on the lot, like on. We'll figure it out. Let's see.
For those of you just joining us, the competition is really heating up in figure skating. Joining us for color commentary are women's figure skating experts and authors of the book Cracks on the Ice. Please welcome Bill Pendergrast and Jay Mattioli. Welcome.
It is a pleasure to be here. I mean, thank you. Where else could you see women from around the world shoot us crotch wingers?
Scott, Phil, every nation is represented here today. Russia, Yugoslavia, Vagina, they're all here.
Okay, coming up first on the ice is our first competitor, Martina Rossetti. Her nickname is Rosie.
Look at that pretty tush peeking out from behind her frilly red skirt. Ooh, I would like to see her perform in the Askapades.
This is a definite man show era bit.
Yeah, this is. So what they did is they played an encore of it again in a later episode. So that's what we found. But it's at when you were on was 0102.
Wow.
There we go.
There you go. All is right in the universe. And that was shot on Hollywood Center lot? Because we were on, the man show was on Hollywood Center lot. So I remember just walking across from like our office and shooting it after work or something one day. But
Right.
you must have just left for SNL.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
2000, I was at SNL. Or 2001 was my first show, was right after 9/11. That was...
Oh, boy.
That was your first show?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
What?
Yeah,
like,
hilarious.
literally how long after 9/11?
2 weeks.
Wow. What was that like? Who was was there a guest?
Didn't Rudy Giuliani come out
Yeah.
on top?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was he was at another episode later on. I was playing drunk girl and I went to the bathroom I was full garb, you know. Went in to go to the bathroom and he's there at the urinal. I pull up right next to him with the, how you doing?
Drunk girl.
How's it going? You know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool moment.
Any sparks there? Or
No sparks, a little dribble.
Okay.
But no real sparks.
So how many years were you at SNL?
3 seasons. Yeah.
Now, how did you leave? Did they fire you? How did that work?
Yeah, I was not asked to come back. No. Yeah, I wasn't picked up. Yeah. Pretty much that was the end of it.
How does that work? Like, is it for the beginning? Is it just year to year? I mean, at some point,
I think it's show to show because you can blow it at any second, anything, a social interaction with the wrong. You don't know who somebody is, or you know.
SNL trivia, I believe a young Damon Wayans was fired as the show was finishing. They fired him because he intentionally fucked up a sketch.
Really?
This is circa
Oh my God.
85. Like this was a long time ago, but he, if I recall correctly, he did some very swishy gay accent when it wasn't part of the sketch or part of anything,
Yeah.
and he kind of intentionally just blew it up because I don't think he was happy there. I don't think he was doing what he wanted to do, and I think they fired him before the show was over.
Did this beget Men on Film?
Perhaps.
Was that what he was doing?
I know. I could not make that connection. I think it was a small part of the sketch, but either way, SNL trivia.
Does that live anywhere online?
Chris?
I'm looking, but I am seeing a lot of articles saying he did sabotage
I've heard
that
that.
SNL sketch.
Chris said it was 2019.
All right.
I would love to. So we literally did the show, finished, or before it was finished.
Supposedly before the credits ran, they were like, "Get out."
Wow. And
That's lore.
Was
I
that
don't-
his first show? Or
No, he was
done-
on for the majority of a season. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like it when you just do it your way, you know.
Go
Especially
rogue.
if they told you don't do it that way. You know, but, I mean, I'm sure he was doing that. I don't know for a fact, but he probably did that in dress, and then they said, "Don't do that," and he said, "Sure, I won't do it," and then did it.
There were some lost SNL years in the mid-ish 80s where they don't get celebrated as much. Robert Downey Jr. was on, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on, Damon Wayans was on, Randy Quaid was on. Like, there were a lot of young talent, and they just don't pop up. They're not celebrated. You never see them in the compilations. They kind of just skip over those years conveniently.
Yeah, I don't. But there's
Anthony Michael Hall was on.
There was certainly enough talent to do funny stuff then.
Absolutely.
There's probably stuff there, but they've been sort of thrown out with the bathwater.
Well, those weren't.
Which
those
is
weren't,
odd for. Yeah.
Oh no, those weren't Lauren's years either.
Dick Ebersol was the. Wasn't Dick Ebersol? Yeah.
Oh, so this may be more of a Lauren thing than a content.
That makes sense because you think of Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and it's not like they want to intentionally sweep her under the rug. What would be the point? She's a mega comedy star.
Right.
Wayne's was 12 episodes in.
There you go.
I guess.
Oh boy.
So how does it work? You sit around. I mean, you could get the axe at any time. That's got to create a certain amount of tension.
Yeah, definitely. And you're trying to come up with ideas, new characters. The first couple of years you go through everything you have, and then the third year, it's like writing an album, I guess. You know, you can put your first album out, and the other ones are so much harder. But I think it's socializing. It's knowing how to, you know, I'm not from a rich family. I don't know how to, you know, be suave or whatever. I kind of say.
There's politics. You have to navigate that world. All right, we have the sketch, Mr. Monopoly.
Yeah. This is 86.
86.
Hey, easy on the soup. Oh, shut up and sit down.
All right, Carrasco. You moved a lot of dough, but you got caught.
Yeah, you're going to jail for a long, long time.
Rob
I wouldn't be so sure about that. My lawyer's going to be here any minute.
I don't think you get the
Looks like
message,
Griffin Dunn.
Carrasco. We got you cold.
It is?
We've got the whole transaction on videotape. We still got 3 people that saw you kill that undercover cop. Where's my lawyer? I got a date with the young lady tonight, and I don't want to keep her waiting.
I don't think you've been listening, Carrasco. There's not a lawyer in the whole world that's going to get you off this time.
Hello, gentlemen.
John Lovitz?
John Lovitz is Mr. Monopoly.
I believe you're detaining Mr. Angel Carrasco. I'm representing him in this matter. That's me. Fine. Let your things on. You're going home.
Oh, are you crazy? This man's being held without bail for first-degree murder and narcotics trafficking. He's not going anywhere.
Oh, no?
Get out of jail free card.
Get out of jail free?
You're that guy from the game, Mr. Monopoly. In the flesh.
This card may be kept until needed or sold. Damn you, Monopoly.
All right, Monopoly.
So Damon said he was angry. That's the reason why it wasn't funny when he admitted to sabotaging the sketch. It was right after Eddie Murphy left the show, and they weren't letting me do things that he would do. So I went against the script. That was my frustration. And then Lauren fired him right on the spot right after the sketch.
Wow, good pull there, Brian. I never heard that story before.
Lost to SNL lore.
Yeah, Damon was invited back to host in '95, so.
And
no hard feelings.
He went.
And he went all swishy the whole time.
All right. Why don't we take a quick break?
Hey, before we get into the news, or maybe now, maybe after the break, whatever you want to do, we can't. We'd be remiss not to mention Jeff's history with our show back in the radio days. Drunken Tree Mascot.
Drunken Tree Mascot.
6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And the drunk girl.
You you were Stanford's mascot. Tree mascot, right?
Famous in the news, she had gotten suspended or whatever, expelled because she was the tree mascot was drunk on the field and during a game, and
that's right.
We decided to run with that as a character.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, that was Drunken Tree Mascot.
Great character.
I hate you, Adam.
Drunken Tree Mascot. Why are you doing this?
Because I do what I do because I want to do something else, but I can't figure it out. Just Google it.
No, but wait, you don't want to be a mascot anymore?
I don't do anything.
Well, you got to do something, Drunken Tree Mascot girl.
Eat it.
Eat what?
Eat whatever you want to eat. I don't want anything. Get away from me. I'm hungry.
Well, I brought you a taco.
I'm not hungry.
I thought you said you were hungry.
Shut up.
Maybe you should eat something.
Maybe you shut your mouth, all right? Google it.
Yeah, Google shut your mouth?
Do whatever you want. I don't care.
Look, we have policies about drinking and mascot outfits, and we have a dry stadium drunken tree mascot.
Yeah, well, dry your ass out.
Hey, why are they called the Stanford Cardinal, but you're in a tree outfit? Has anyone ever brought that one up?
Because I don't want to get pregnant.
Yeah, but if we...
Because the tree outfit keeps people away and they can't get inside.
Well, if we put you in a cardinal outfit, like we dressed you up as a cardinal from the church.
Wait, who's we?
Well, I'm saying I'm part of the commission. And we put you in a cardinal, like a bird outfit, that would... I don't even know why I'm indulging
I'll
you
do
in
it.
this one.
Shut up.
All right, so we can get you out of the tree outfit?
Yeah.
Did you wet yourself?
I mean, it is what it is.
Trees need to be watered, Adam.
You're not supposed to drink in the tree outfit.
Well, I don't want to catch coronavirus.
Well, it's not... You drinking Natty Light is not going to save you from the coronavirus. Oh, no. Oh, drunken tree mascot.
That's happened a lot.
No, I'm sorry. Don't go there. It's fine. You can stay in the tree outfit.
What made her a great mascot is her emotion.
That's right. And scene. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and do the news right after this.
Life for Prince Andrew just keeps getting worse. Britain's Prince Andrew no longer has any military affiliations and royal patronages, according to a statement released by Buckingham Palace. He's just plain old Andy now. This comes a day after Andrew's lawyers failed to persuade a U.S. judge to dismiss a civil lawsuit that accused him of sexual abuse. The statement went on to say that the Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending this case as a private citizen. Now, I'll give you a little refresher in case you're not on the up and up here. NBC News reports that Andrew's reputation has been tarnished in recent years because of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who was found guilty, of course, of 5 federal sex trafficking charges last month in New York City. And the connection that we're still talking about with Andrew is a girl named Virginia Giuffre, who may sound familiar. She was the one pictured in that photo that was going around with Andrew's arm around the waist of that 17-year-old girl. That's her. Buckingham Palace made the announcement about Andrew's titles after the judge in the U.S. rejected his bid to dismiss that lawsuit against Giuffre, who alleges that he sexually abused her when she was 17, and now he is fighting this thing on his own.
How old's the Queen? She 98?
Oh God,
99?
She's got to be 90.
Shouldn't she have she would have been so much happier if she just died at 95.
She is 95.
Oh, we'll make it 91. Not only she got to deal with this guy, but she's got her grandson marrying that bitch who comes over and calls everyone racist and then talks shit on Oprah. Like, you just check it in at 90.
Really submarines a lot of conspiracy theories about people having people killed and Secret Service. I know these trained killers. Wouldn't she have had him killed long ago if that was the case?
If he was a pedophile,
no. If it was possible to just have snap your fingers, hey, take care of this problem.
Well,
that seems
Ryan,
like it would have been done.
That's one of the many conconspiracy theories about Princess Di.
Oh, that she was taken out for something similar to this?
That the Queen had requests done at the cover of Night.
Yeah, and then Epstein himself. There's all the conspiracy about him being taken out as well.
Right.
Ugh. Yeah, don't take pictures with hot chicks. That's the new story, because you take a picture with a hot chick and anyone who looks at it goes, oh yeah, he definitely,
Look at the way he's looking at her.
By the way, that's just saying you want to fuck her when you oh yeah, he definitely. That's you going, oh yeah, I definitely. Yeah, you just can't be photographed with hot chicks.
Well, and also, I don't know how much reverence the average person in the UK has for the royal family, but can we give up this fucking charade at this point that these people matter and that they that anything they do makes a difference.
Well,
and they're figureheads. We know they're all fucked up. We know it's all embroiled in conspiracies and in problems.
I disagree.
Oh, do tell.
Because the royal family used to do a lot of events and charities and like pomp and circumstance and things like that. Now we only hear about them when they fuck up. You got to have someone calling them a racist or this guy a pedophile or something.
It's royal wedding or fuck up. Royal
Right.
wedding or pedophile.
So I like to keep them around because just to watch them fuck up, you know, like
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Somebody who was shitty to you in high school and big man on campus or popular cheerleader. You want to hang around and watch them get fat.
Now you're talking.
You know what I mean? This is did you hear Cheryl's divorced again? They're like, oh yeah.
What a shame.
Do tell.
The one who was a cunt to me the whole time I was in the 11th grade. Yeah, she's on her, and she's in rehab. I'm like, okay, good.
Terrible.
You don't want her to have a stroke when she's 33. You want to keep her around for a while and enjoy the slow ride down.
You're absolutely right. But also, do you want to pay for her?
No, I mean, not if I'm one of the subjects. No.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So we've been talking a lot about Bob Saget. We were lucky to have Jeff Ross call in the other day, and he talked a little bit about John Mayer. Well, apparently that's real. John Mayer, Bob Saget were very, very close, and his close friends of Bob Saget, Jeff and John, picked up Bob's car that was left at LAX in long-term parking the other day and recorded a 25-minute Instagram live so they could continue to talk about the love of their friend Bob. The whole thing really, really just very casual and very touching. And they're literally just driving on the 405 talking about their friend Bob. But I've pulled 60 seconds of John Mayer sort of extolling the virtues of his friend and thought you might enjoy it.
Oh, if I know long-term parking at LAX, I'm sure the parking attendant was very sympathetic to the fact that the person whose car was dropped off there was deceased.
Yeah, I don't have the ticket. Sorry, it's a long story, but my friend died, and I'm just.
It is full price. You pay full.
No. He died.
It is good.
away.
It is not a problem for me.
No, it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
Not this
He's
mine.
dead.
You know, you have ticket. You pay full.
Yeah, no, I think he took it with him.
$700.
You know, we're here literally just as a favor to the family. That's the only reason I'm here today. I'd like to just bring his car
but his
home.
house is full. I did not know the found up video. I know it's $700.
Oh, okay, I'm just trying to return the car to the family.
It's $700.
Okay. So they got the car out somehow, and here is John Mayer talking about his friend Bob.
And Bob's effusive and repeated expression of love is the greatest gift that he left people, because all we have is the pain of his going, and we don't have to worry about the accounting. The affairs are in order in terms of wondering or not having to wonder how Bob felt about us. Do you know what I mean?
It's like what you said about backing up your computer.
Bob's love backup was this morning, 7:33 a.m.
You knew where you stood. I love you. He ended the most benign conversations with "I love you."
I hear him. Oh, I love you guys so much. John and Jeff, I just love you guys so much. I love you so much. I want to take you guys out to Craig's next week. We got to go to Craig's and have dinner. I love you guys. Thank you so much for picking my. This is the only time in my life I've been honored to help a friend out at LAX.
Yep, I haven't picked someone up at the airport in 10 years.
Is he driving a Prius?
No sunroof.
Hard to tell. Yeah, looked
I don't know.
Pedestrian.
Very modest.
I don't know Prius interiors, but I noticed from the back when they shifted back, it looked Prius-y. Max Pata would know.
I mean, my interior doesn't look like that. So
It's a Prius. What's up? What's up, Adam? This is Adam. This is Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man.
Just gonna roast this hat.
Oh no, you can't roast a hat.
What's up, hat? And you're so blue. You need therapy.
Yeah.
Zing.
Yeah, Jeff, not everything is roast worthy.
I'm gonna roast this piece of paper. What's up, paper? You got two different types of ink on that. What are you, schizophrenic? What's up, kid? What's up, man?
Yeah.
What's up, kid, man?
Yeah, you can't just roast
Just looking around the room.
clouds
Roast master.
and things. You have to pick
I'm
a
gonna roast
subject.
this. I'm gonna roast the air. Look at the protons. Look at the neutrons. What do you think? You're better than me? You having a good time? Why don't you tell your face?
I've never heard of Jeff Ross before.
That was good.
That's good.
Thank you.
Do it again. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to picture.
What's up,
Jeff.
Adam? This is Jeff Ross.
Oh, hey, man. How are you?
Look at all those pens and pencils and that pen and pencil thing. What do you think? You're better than me? You having a good time? Why don't you tell your face?
That is Jeff. Close your eyes. Wow. Who the hell knew? Like I said, I did the scleroderma foundation thing, and John Mayer was sitting at my table, so I guess they go way back. And I've completely turned the corner on John Mayer. I thought he was a douchebag 10 years ago.
Might be the greatest guy.
I'm in love with the man.
Yeah.
Oh, question for the other Jeff Richards. In your time at SNL, coolest maybe one or two hosts you got along with, hit it off with?
What's her name? Damn. Queen Latifah was my favorite.
Or musical guests, I should expand.
Music guests like White Stripes, The Strokes.
That's right. That was your era, yeah.
A lot of good bands.
Cool.
Saw Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, really?
Once.
Nice.
Mick Jagger on his own once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And are they doing like, is Mick Jagger at that point in his career, is he doing like a full tech rehearsal?
Not really. I mean, I think he's not moving around too much. Well, he's taking it. He's playing it real cool, like a football player before a football game. You know, just kind of walk around cool.
Tape it out.
Mm-hmm. Sorry,
Jeff,
Jim.
you may remember this specifically. John Mulaney has a bit, when he was writing and Mick Jagger was on, and every single thing they wrote for him, he would just yell, "Not funny," and didn't like anything that was being written for him. Do you remember him to be, rather cantankerous?
He didn't come to he just performed music. He didn't I don't think he did much maybe one sketch with Jimmy. I think he did the one with the mirror. He was a mirror with Jimmy.
So
okay.
the sort of the Lucille Ball, Harpo Marx move. You guys remember that?
I don't remember him doing.
He would. He being Mick Jagger would do it with Mike Myers back in the day. Maybe did they re-up that with?
But you guys remember the Lucille Ball Harpo one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
I know that bit. I don't remember it being redone.
It's the coolest thing in the world. You know what I mean? This is Jimmy Fallon. How you doing, man? How you doing, Adam? That's so cool. You know? That's the coolest thing in the world. You know what I mean? How you doing, man? Come on, man.
I'm gonna close my eyes. Keep going. It's Jimmy Fallon.
I found a paperclip yesterday. You know? I found a paperclip. I saw the paperclip. Like, oh my god, no way. You know? It was so shiny. You know? It's the coolest thing in the world. You know?
Mr. Fallon, I know you for a time anyway. You and Justin Timberlake were like best friends. Are you guys still best friends?
I love that guy. That is the coolest guy in the world. You know, it's like every time I see him, I'm like, oh my god, you know, it's so cool. You know, because it's just like a cool guy. You know, I really like him.
Yeah,
he's cool. Come on, man. Adam still got his eyes shut. Come on, give me a break. You know, I'm gonna roast this baseball cap. How you doing, man? How's it going, baseball cap? It's the coolest thing in the world, you know? The blue and everything, you know?
All right, Gina, keep going.
All right. Well, remember we talked at length and about the Canadian wife who, after a long, hard nursing shift of 12 hours, went out and shoveled the shoveled the snow off the driveway, and everyone was apoplectic except for you. Well, guess who else wasn't freaked out about it?
Hold on, they were in a Prius, by the way. That was a Prius.
Yeah, they said that Jeff said in the video, Bob had his fancy Lexus for going to restaurants, and then his junk car was his Prius, which he would leave at the airport.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, his wife has come to his defense. This is Cynthia Reyes. She spoke out about the backlash after her husband, John, has received a lot of abuse across North America. This is what she said. She said, as I pulled up to my driveway, I felt energy to shovel the snow that fell all night and into the morning. As many Manitobans and Canadians know, it's a great workout. It allowed me to unwind. It's refreshing after wearing an N95 mask almost the entire night. The weather was mild. It was quiet and peaceful. Most importantly, I enjoy it. And then she added that she and her husband share different chores, not based on gender. It's just based on whoever's available to do it.
Oh, look, I was thinking about it at the time. Like, people like exercise and want to get exercise. Not everyone wants to run on a treadmill. And also, if you think about it sort of conceptually, if you're shoveling snow, you're getting a good exercise. You could go out and work a 12-hour shift as a nurse or any other job, and it'd be perfectly reasonable for you to come home and run on the treadmill for half an hour or work out or get some exercise. So if we're not poo-pooing the treadmill or the Soul Cycle that night, then why are we poo-pooing the outdoor exercise? This
the
is
sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you got to alternate arms too. You can't just keep using the right.
You got to shift it over.
You got to shift it, and a lot of people don't keep track of.
You come from a snow shoveling place? You grew up there?
Not at all. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Had
I just
some
want to
insight.
fit in. You know, I haven't said much
Insight.
lately. Thought I'd say something. I hope that was okay.
So good. I'm glad she defended her man.
Yeah.
She also hit
And,
on something that was a little interesting. In today's day and age, surprising that so many people were gender specific with their chores. You know what I mean? She's like, we do things that, I do man chores. I'm sure he does, woman chores. I'm making air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny because in our house, it is the same. It's whoever's available. The dishes, vacuuming, cleaning, it doesn't matter what it is, except for two things that I have yet to bend on. If it's really, really
pussy.
heavy,
Oh, sorry.
yes, eating pussy.
Sure.
Or, well, this one, that might fall into the next category, or really, really gross. I can't be bothered. I won't do it.
Oh, you
And-
don't do the gross stuff.
Fuck no. We have one of those drain catchers in, the side of the sink where the stuff doesn't go down.
Mm-hmm.
I did it once. I'll never do it again.
That's interesting.
Big,
Split
strong
sink.
man. You do that part.
I thought. See, I feel
a bad
like
sign.
women are wired for gross a little better because they seem to like a diaper, bad diapery stuff, cleaning up the kid. Traditionally, women were nurses.
True.
The bedpans and wounds and
Interesting.
cleaning. You have to tend to like a kid who gets a cut or wound or a filled diaper or something. I felt like or taking care of the elderly parent or something like that. I'd much rather go clean the gutters out or paint the fascia on the side of the house than get involved with the poop and the blood and the pus and the snot.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
like
I think you're
when-
right.
like
I
a
think
kid will
you're-
blow his nose or whatever, a sneeze, a big
No, we
get
snot
that,
thing
yeah.
will come down and the handle just. I thought women
Mother
were wired
spit,
for gross.
Mother spits. The
Right.
cleanest
Most
substance on
women
earth.
probably are. I've never been put in a position to. I've never changed a diaper. I've never been in a position to change a diaper. If a kid like sneezes and snot comes out of his nose, my throat closes up. Like I'm not one of those women. I can't do it. I wish I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't be done.
Well, the thing about it can be done when you're home alone with the kid and the kid shits the diaper. At some point, you'll figure it out. That, I'm not into it either.
I've called neighbors I met half of a time to come deal with one of those American cockroaches. You know, the ones that are like the size of like a Maltese.
Yeah.
I was alone. I lived alone. Fuck that. It's not happening. So
Okay.
you get resourceful. I
All
get
right.
resourceful.
Mhm.
We have an update on the Rust situation. The Alec Baldwin situation, we'll call it that, since that might sound more familiar. The armorer who worked on the set of the film Rust and loaded the gun that ultimately killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins is suing the ammunition supplier. The investigation into that deadly shooting has focused on armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who is believed to have somehow loaded a live bullet into the chamber instead of blanks. She's denied responsibility. She's now suing PDQ Arm and Prop. That's the New Mexico-based weapons and ammunition supplier who provided all the inert ammunition. The lawsuit argues that the company was negligent and mixed a live bullet in with the blanks. Here's what it says. Hannah relied upon and trusted that defendants would only supply dummy prop ammo or blanks, and no live rounds were ever to be on set. It also describes a number of dangerous incidents on the set in which dummy rounds were accidentally fired. So the can continues to get kicked.
Well, at a certain point, you have to pull the round out of a little foam cutout. It probably comes in. And as you pull it out, you have to see a bullet
Sure.
slug at the end of it. I mean, it's just a different shape than what the blank would be. So there's room enough for negligence for a lot of people.
Right.
You know, it could definitely, that can be true, but also if you're the person who's pulling them out of the container and putting them in the pistol, then sort of on you as well. And then did Baldwin pull the trigger? He says he didn't pull the trigger.
How do we not know when the whole thing was being filmed? So who has the film of that moment?
I think it was a rehearsal, right?
Yeah, but don't you sometimes film rehearsal?
Well, they will roll on rehearsal sometimes, but sometimes I guess they won't roll on rehearsal. So I don't know if it exists or
Is there
not.
also a possibility he was aiming the gun directly down the barrel of the camera, like Goodfellas style, and destroyed the camera?
That is what he allegedly, that we've talked about before, was the case.
Well, then he would have destroyed the camera.
Yeah.
Well, and then how is it that 50 Cent got shot 9 times and is somewhere right now
making a
working
movie.
or making a movie or something? It's also it's so random to me that some people get shot a bunch of times and somehow they're fine, and some people get shot once and that's the end of that.
Well, I think about that a lot in terms of drugs. You know, like we've talked about, you could take 160, oxy and get through your day, or your heart's just going to give out for somebody else.
Yeah, sad. But it makes, he says he was moving the gun, or I don't know if he said he was moving the gun. He said he didn't squeeze the trigger, and he said he didn't point it at anybody. But in that case, you'd have to be moving it when it went off and it's just stopped in front of the cinematographer.
Well, and
Who the
like
hell
you
knows?
said, I'm sure there's enough blame to go around. I think people, it sounds like which makes sense, a ploy to kind of take some of the heat off you, saying like, me, I'm going to sue the ammunition company. It's just a way to maybe to not be the scapegoat. I don't know.
Just don't like, I always hate in these situations where the holier than thou other actors go, you always check the cylinder. You always break. I would break the gun down and have it visually inspected. I would love. I bet you could put a 20-minute reel together of people handing this person a gun while they were smoking and on the phone and went, yeah, okay, yeah, what are we doing here? Like, you always open, you always break it down. I don't know. I'll bet you most actors just trust the prop master and the armorer, and when they hand them the gun, they just hand them the gun. But anyway,
I'm seeing that the incident was not recorded.
Not recorded.
Would have been helpful.
All right.
Well,
one
we
more.
have. Okay. Well, then you know what? I've been saving this, and I really just want to show you what it looks like if you haven't heard about it yet. BMW sees a future where drivers won't have to choose the exterior of the car, because now you can change it at literally the touch of a button. At Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, the car maker unveiled the BMW iX Flow, which is wrapped in an electronic paper that changes color. For example, we're looking at it now. If you like the look of a black BMW, but don't want such a dark car on like a hot day, you'll just switch it to white.
That is pretty bitchin'.
It is very cool. It's unknown whether the color changing car might be available for purchase, but it does appear to still be a few years away. I watched the interview about it, and the woman says it uses the same technology as a Kindle. So when you take your Kindle into the sun and you can read it perfectly, how the, I'm using this word, but like the crystals change, they essentially use the same sort of quote unquote paper to wrap the entire car.
I want the car to do it on its own. Like, I want a mood car. Like, I want to come out and go, shit, the car's horny this morning, or the car's having a critical day, not a good day to go on freeway speeds.
You get cut off. Fucking thing
right.
goes flaming red.
Flaming red, you know, or maybe it's envious, or it's blue. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want the car to kind of dictate
mood
the
ring.
pace.
Yeah.
The mood ring.
I like that.
We had the mood ring. We had a lot of science when I was growing up. We had a ring that would tell you what kind of mood you were in, and we had a pet rock. We had lots of good
How'd they get
stuff.
that over on us? The pet rock was
I love the
biggest
idea
scam
of
in the world, though.
But I love the idea of the pet rock.
A couple eyes and
also it is one of those you're out of problems as a culture, because like in the Middle East they throw rocks, but they don't have them as pets. You know what I mean? Like we're so out of things to do with our money that just because it's a goof, we're going to buy a rock. It's going to come in a box. We'll call it a pet rock.
The irony is those became popular because the economy was so bad. People couldn't afford pets.
Right. Really? Yeah, it was a late
it was late 70s thing.
Well, probably mid or later.
I read an article about it. Yeah, okay, they got popular after that, obviously. But yeah, I read an article. It was because of the bad economy.
Well, and before we close out, because we're talking about these fakakta phenomenons, and I don't necessarily recommend the documentary, but I did start watching a documentary on Beanie Babies. And apparently there is going to be a motion picture coming out about the Beanie Baby craze of the, what do we call it, the 90s. So we'll all look forward to that.
Did anybody ever have a mood ring?
Too young.
No.
We had Jeff, do you have hypercolor t-shirts?
Oh,
hypercolor t-shirts were sweet.
What'd you call me?
Hypercolor. The t-shirts that if you breathed on them or they got warm, they'd change.
Oh, yeah.
They get hot.
Yeah.
Like with the handprint, if you pressed your hand on it.
Grab it. Never had a mood ring.
I'd like to drive the BMW that changes colors over to Mexico and be like, here's what they're doing in Germany. What do you guys got going on?
What are you up to?
We're building Volkswagen Bugs. Yeah, but that's their, you're making other people's shit.
It was new. What's exciting?
What do you
got going? What's the flavor?
We have a donkey here, but it stays the same color.
Right.
Unless it rolls in dirt. Like, all right, let's up the game a little bit. Let's get a car going. Let's work on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I judge a culture.
That's the way to do it. That's the only way to do it.
That's the only way to do it. We knew this was out of Germany. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Not funny!
Gina Grad! That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, you can check out Jeff live in Annapolis, Maryland, Rams Head on stage January 30th, and you can check out Linktree/JeffRichards if you want to watch the show. Paul Janeway as well, The Alien Coast, name of that album. And you can check me out at Brea, February 6th. Bill Shatner will be up on stage with me, and Dennis Quaid as well. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Jeff Richards, Paul Janeway, Gina Grad, and Bald Ryan. Say it. Mahalo.
I stand here today alongside Zendaya. Power to the short kings. 5'7", 5'8", best sex ever. If you are not 6 foot, you are fine.
Yeah, so I mean, she definitely
wonder
knows
where that came
knows
from.
what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Sage.